What's your solution? How do you fix this at this point? How do you fix it?
The percentage you got is not a small number.
Well, we fix it. You've started it in the United States of America. We had no hope until your election. So your election and the ripple that's coming out of the United States for free speech. Do you know how I've just been in prison and I sat there and I listened to Keir Starmer and I listened to him in the Oval Office talking to J.D. Vance and President Trump, talking about free speech. Do you know how infuriating it is and insulting it is when I'm sat on solitary confinement for making a film? No one's challenged the facts that are in the film. No one. Not one journalist has even spoke about it. None of them. And in 2000, I know I'm going all over here. When I spoke about, they give me 13 months in prison for reporting outside a court case. When I come out of court that time, when I got released from prison, I was told, I got my computer. I logged into my computer. Two of my old employees who worked for me, one of them was still logged into the emails. So I went through the emails. We have an organisation in the United Kingdom called Hope Not Hate. Is it Media Matters?
Media Matters, yes.
They're the left wing.
Mm-hmm.
That is the equivalent in the UK of Hope Not Hate.
Got it.
So Hope Not Hate received George Soros funding. Their job, you don't need laws to prohibit free speech because these organisations who receive millions of pounds, anyone who speaks out with any influence or education or anything, they find out where they work, they contact their HR departments, they stifle free speech by attacking, smearing and lying. I come out of jail, I turn the laptop on, I'm still logged into one of my employees' emails. I start going through his emails and I start looking back, maybe I shouldn't have. I'll find out he's in contact with Hope Not Hate. So I'm looking thinking, he's employed by me. And he wasn't just employed by me, he was working with Alex Jones. He was working with Lawrence Southern. He was working with so many people in the right. Everyone in the right he was working with. And then I looked at the times and dates and they're paying for his travel, they're sending him money. I think, what's going on here? So I ring him up and I find out then that Panorama, you heard of Panorama? Mm. Panorama is the BBC's flagship documentary maker. So they are seen in the UK as the most authentic, investigative documentary makers. What they say is factual, yeah? I see that Panorama are working on a piece against me. So I ring and I then make a documentary. And in this documentary, what they're doing against me, I send a girl wearing a hidden camera. So Panorama are known for covert surveillance. They investigate and they expose things. So I sent a girl to wear a covert camera into Panorama. The head of Panorama's name was John Sweeney. This man was the biggest face of the BBC. Yeah, he goes in. I send the girl in, and I get her wearing a wire, and I get him on camera saying that they're going to make me into a sexual figure. They're going to make me Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, so they're going around all my old employees. Anyone I fell out with, this is how it works. This is the operation. So anyone I fell out with, anyone who had contact with me from when I was a child, this group will contact him. But the BBC don't contact them. In step, Hope Not Hate. In step an organisation who can sit down and pay you, I'll give you £20,000. Yeah. Then they pay them £20,000. They tell them what they need to say. They then bring in Panorama, whose hands are clean. Yeah. They sit down, they use this source of information, they make a documentary talking about me, and then they show it to the world. And then they have source after source after source. But what you don't get to see is that those sources are being paid. So I got covert recordings of this man, John Sweeney. I get him sitting down saying, right, what I want you to say. It doesn't realise it's on camera. What I want you to say, tell me this, tell me this, tell me this. Do we have a deal? Yeah. Then the girl, so I send an ex-employee in. They contact an ex-employee who didn't like me because I sacked her. She comes to me, says, it's sick what they're about to do to you. I've got to tell you. She hated me. Yeah. She says, no, this isn't right what they're going to do to you. And I shit myself. And the reason they've done this, the government, when I come out of jail, the government paid research was going onto social media, Facebook, to find out people's opinions on me. Now, the reason being that 600,000 British people signed a petition demanding my release from prison. This is 2017 when I'm in jail for reporting outside the court case. 30,000 people marched on Parliament. These sort of numbers aren't thinkable in the UK. It's worrying for the government. So they're working in on this documentary to take me down. I then say to the girl, right, okay. So they're contacting you. She doesn't like me. She could have sat down and lied to them about anything. They would have broadcast it. Yeah. So I said, okay, can we put a camera on you? Let's go to them. You tell them about an argument we've had. Yeah. We did have an argument. It was about a demonstration. It's about Mohammed hijab. Nothing about sex or anything. And she goes to him and says, right, I've got a recording on Tommy Robinson. He's really aggressive and he's shouting at me. And then she says, but I was screaming at him, and she starts saying it was my fault. And he says, don't worry, we'll clip all those bits out. He doesn't realise he's on camera. He goes, we're going to make this into a sexual thing against Tommy Robinson. That's what he says on camera. Yeah. So I'm sitting there getting all this. She comes back. And what I did, now they're the best investigations in the world. So I sit and get a laptop with this girl who doesn't like me. I said, well, I'm at home in bed. Yeah. Which she goes on the computer and she looks up sendafaketext.com. So she sends herself a text message that looks like it's from me saying, if you work with Panorama, I'm going to bury you, you bitch. So we're sitting together. I said, see, I haven't sent this text message. I'm in bed. Yeah? But these are working. Let's see if they even check if this is legit. So she does this message, sendafaketext.com. John Sweeney, they're trying to contact me because they've been working on all this dirt they've got on me. So you see what you're seeing here. So what I do is I go and set up a studio like this. I put a camera on the wall. I put a screen on the wall. And I only give them a day's notice. I said, right, I'll meet you. It has to be on my grounds. Meet me here. And my heart's like this. I'm terrible because Panorama are going to finish me. They're about to tell the whole country I'm a sex case. They're about to tell the whole country all these things about me. And he sits down. But what we find out in this, that my two old employees are being blackmailed. So I ring my old employees who are working with Hope Not Hate. I ring them and say, Caleb, I've got someone inside Hope Not Hate. I know you met them on this day at this time, but I'm blagging them. I've got it from the emails. I know you met them. He's like, Tommy, they've been blackmailing us for the last year. How are they blackmailing you? When we lost our job with Rebel Media, we were so annoyed with Rebel Media that we went to these groups, we took money off them to give information on the right wing. Yeah. I said, okay. And they're going to expose that we've done this. They've got evidence we've done this. So then they've forced us, we've got to help take you down. And they threatened us with the police, all these different things, politicians. Now, Hope Not Hate, at the head of Hope Not Hate are politicians. Hope Not Hate are the deep state. You want to see the deep state? It's Hope Not Hate. So I've done 2 documentaries, yeah? This is why they hate me. So the Panorama think they're taking me down. I then get all this recorded information on them. I sit down for an interview. They sit down for Panorama with Caleb, my old employee. He does an interview. Present in the interview with Panorama that we pay for, BBC, are Hope Not Hate. Hope Not Hate, when he doesn't say enough negative stuff about me, they take him outside and they say, you better go in there and say this, you better go in there and say that. So when I sit down with John Sweeney from Panorama, and this is all on this documentary, I sit down and say, whose documentary is this? Is it BBC's? He says, yeah. I said, so it's yours. So there's nothing to do with any organisation, any other. There are, because Hope Not Hate are named by the Swedish government as a far left extremist organisation. George Soros funds them. They're a radical group, but they have establishment power. Yeah, they're used by the establishment to destroy people. They do. The media can't offer you money. The police can't. They can't entrap you. They do it. They're the group that comes in and does it. So then John Sweeney sits down and I said, would you ever, who's working on this? He said, us. I said, so this is not a Hope Not Hate documentary? He says, no. So I then have messages. I said, really? That's not what they say here. And I said, look on the screen, John. I said, John, would you ever tell anyone what to say in a documentary? Would you do that?
You didn't do that.
Yeah, I said, would you ever do that? And he says, no. I said, no, just say press play. And all the BBC's producers are sat there. Now, I've done loads of...
Is this video live?
It's all on there. It's all on there. You've got to see it because they all put their heads in their hands. All the producers, when you do a documentary, this was the government.
What minute is it on?
This is it. This is me and him talking now. So this is the bit where you hear them, they're saying they're blackmailing them. See the hand on the head?
Yeah.
Play that bit. This finished them. That's their producers.
Said you've got to do like Sky or one mainstream media thing. And then I went back to London to drop something off and to go, that's his name. So Caleb was left in.
What do you mean?
I mean, they snuck into his room.
Well, I think.
This is the deepest, maddest stuff. They stuck into his room when he was asleep. Hope Not Hate. It's all in this documentary. They got him into a position, sexual. He's gay, that my ex-employee. Yeah, but it's all in here. The recordings are all in here. Now, I've done so many documentaries over the years with the mainstream media. You usually just have the presenter and someone else. When I've done this one, all the producers were there. But they had no idea what I had on them. So I said, would you tell anyone what to say? And he said, no. I said, press play. And then it's a recording of him covert. Wow. And all of them just go like this. And they're sitting. Now, once I got this information, I got so much that this exposed them so bad. Panorama, yeah? Working with hope, welcome. And look, you see those bits there. What I did is I played the beat. Listen to this. Just a yes or no. It's a simple yes or no. Okay.
We must ensure we avoid bias or an imbalance of views. Our output will be based on fairness, openness, and straight dealing. Contributors will be treated honestly and with respect.
No, they were setting me up. Everything you think you know. Do you know we hear about fake news? Donald Trump spoke about fake news. I nailed them. Yeah. But what happened from this? When I was first exposed, remember I used a fake name when I started the English Defence League because I was scared for my family. There was a journalist called Stephen Bird for the Times newspaper. He uncovered me on the front page of the Times newspaper. I kept in a relationship with him. So when I got all this, I contacted him. I said, mate, I have got a Panorama making up allegations. I've got them covertly recorded on everything, yeah? He come to see me. I played it to him. He said, mate, this is massive. I said, yeah, John Sweeney, they're fucked. Like, they're in trouble here. Big trouble. He said, let me go see my editors. He come back the next day. He said, Tommy, I'm not allowed to run it. So what do you mean you're not allowed to run it? So I'm not allowed to run it. I said, you're meant to be a journalist. How can you not be allowed to run the biggest breaking story that exposes the BBC there's ever been? How can you not? So he wasn't allowed to run it. I then hired the biggest screen in the country. I played this documentary outside the BBC on the biggest screen. I put it online. Within 24 hours, it had 2 million views.
What year is this?
This
19?
18, 19. I was deleted 24 hours later. Facebook removed me. YouTube removed me. I was deleted from every single social media. And the Attorney General prosecuted me for the crime I'd already been released from prison for. I went straight back to jail. And when they'd done that, do you know, to stop this film, what Facebook did is made mention of my name illegal. So you can't share any content from Tommy Robinson. You can't mention the name of Tommy Robinson. Now, all of this was in response to this film. Now, this film went out. That's us showing it. This film went out. You have to watch that film to understand. It's the biggest expose the BBC's ever faced. And their response to it was to end me again. Yeah? But they thought that their documentary that they'd created with fake news was going to end me. And I spun it and produced it and ended his. And as I'm talking to him, we have a big argument. I said, "You're about to ruin my life." And
Is that in the
all in there?
Rob, can you go to that part?
So you'll see. Yeah,
What minute would it be in?
So play the film again. Fast forward. Keep going. They're the covert recordings of him lying. I got him being racist, homophobic, talking about shooting gays. The head of the BBC. I got him nailed on everything. Everything they accused us of is them. Do you know the comments he made about working class? Do you know, so you understand the working class? He said, we heard about someone being working class. He said, we wanted to go visit this work. In the green room in the BBC, there was someone who was working class. You know, like you'd go and see an animal in the Mongolian Mongolian jungle or something like that, he said. Like, that's how they view us. That's the comments he made. So he calls me from scumbag Irish background, as in poor, because my mum's Irish and poor. This is the way they view us. And this nailed it. But if you keep going, you'll see at the end when I get up, like, wow. But and do you know the fake text? So sendafaketext.com. When we're going through all this, he kept going for his pocket. And I'm playing. I said, no, hold on. One more thing. Let's see what he's saying here. So I'm playing. I said, would you ever be racist, John? No. Press play. Homophobic, John? Press play. This, John? Press play. And on everything. And then at the end, he gets out of his pocket and he says, yeah, Tommy, you said you'd bury her. I just looked at the camera and said, I told you. They didn't even check it because it suited their narrative. So they say, like yourself, if I say I want to make a hit documentary on you, this is what the BBC do. That's what they do on everyone. You've seen the whole, I don't know what to believe in any of the cases. So when they go Andrew Tate, when they go all these different people, they'll go through every single person you've ever fell out with. Now, how many of those people will be willing to make stuff up, especially if you give them a 20 grand check? Yeah. So this is Hope Not Hate working with these. I produced the BBC documentary. Is that him with a bit of paper for a slate? Down. John says he would give me the right to reply, to which I would say it's fake. But the fake allegation that I threatened to murder my ex-female employee would effectively be aired to millions of people across the world. And I'm certain every national newspaper would run with the headline, Tommy Robinson threatens to kill female employee. I wanted to prove, and I've just proved, how easy it is for fake news to be created and for people to be targeted and their lives destroyed.
You have been pounds. Can I happen to job as well? And son up judges and normally this piece of perception.
My solicitor is Korean,
Very good. We're in a court injunction against you. Okay. Oh, fantastic. Against you. So this is a lie. This is fake news exposed. Very good. Okay. Johnny, Tom, look. I suggest you get all those through. Yes, this is a lie. I never said that message from this guy. This is what he used to send to that phone. It wasn't sent from the phone. I didn't send. Hold on. It wasn't sent from the phone. I didn't send. Is this a lie? If you ever catch it all in my documents, if you ever catch it all in my documents, no, we have now. I've written it. So no, we are honest. In fact, John, you'll finish your career. You finish your career. Yes, sir. I know stuff. I know stuff. Homophobia, racism. I'm not a homophobe. I'm a this is a lie. This is a picture.
What happened?
They put him on gardening leave for 9 months, and then he was gone. And then they tried to bury it. No, remember, this documentary, not one single British media reported on it. They put him on gardening leave. He was the head of the face of the BBC. 9 months later, they sack him. And then when they sacked him, he come out and said, Tommy Robert, he said it was all because of me. His career's gone. He's gone. Yeah. Well, I say gone. They still bring him back.
How well did this clip do in the States, in America?
It was silenced and probably not that well.
I've never seen this.
No, watch that documentary. It finishes them. Yeah. But what people need to understand is, if Panorama are doing that to me, every single story, Panorama were used for the chemical weapons used by Assad. Yeah. It's like, really? I don't believe a word you say. Assad had already won the war. Why is he using chemical weapons? So all of these different things.
My name's Tommy Robinson. I'm a citizen journalist. And for my work, I've become an enemy of the British state. I've humiliated them and embarrassed them with my content. I've exposed the Islamic rape gangs which they successfully hid for almost 30 years. My work many times has landed me in prison. In the last 15 years, I've learned a lot about how the media work, about how the government work, the judiciary works. I've made many documentaries. If you would like to connect directly with me, you can do so now via their app, Minute.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.